Hi guys, welcome to Interior Insights. I'm Jane and we are standing in the heart of Verona in a beautiful, beautiful historic building. If you love retro, vintage and just really cool design that perfectly blends the old history and the charm of the old history and just this modern retro approach of Italian design, this video is for you. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe. So as we come in, we can just see that this is an incredible piece of historic architecture. Above me, we have the beautiful traditional exposed wooden beams that really tell the history, and that is very typical for Verona to have here. And because of this wooden ceiling, we just have this warm and inviting architecture that I just really love. We are in the living room. Behind me, we have the sofa setup of two really cool futuristic looking leather chairs and give you this very retro Italian design. I love it. In front of me, we have a beautiful window that frames the outside and so that you can see the rustic and antique facades of the building opposite of us. And you just really have this beautiful dialogue between the inside and the outside. This space is just incredible because, let me tell you, this is a secret. So hidden inside this beautiful apartment in Verona, we have a lot of really antique and beautiful original frescoes. So as you know, the Italians always went big on their fresco paintings and also Michelangelo, and there's just this really long history of using frescoes to decorate walls or ceilings in Italy. And here we have original bits and pieces that are kept original. And I just love it because it tells the history of this place. It is a really respectful way of integrating the history. In every room you go, you just have something really unexpected. For example, here, right on top of me, we have a beautiful fresco right at the top of those beams. And it's just a beautiful art piece. Over here, we have the dining table. And we have a lamp that actually is a sconce that is mounted to the wall that just extends from the wall as a dining table lamp. And that's just also a really fun design. We have a beautiful black and white painting that looks like it's just been, I believe it's a print, but it looks really old and just gives you the charm of Verona and its beautiful architecture. And what I love, I believe, other than the frescoes, my favorite piece inside this apartment is this just genius, absolutely beautiful kitchen. So if you know me, you know I love stainless steel, and yes, right now it's very common for people to use a lot of stainless steel in their designs. But this kitchen has been here for way longer than the trend has existed. And you just have these cool knobs that look retro. It just looks fun. It looks really Italian. You have here the checkered orange and white cloths that just add this perfect composition and that just give you the feeling that a lot of Italian food is being cooked here. Here we have some more stainless steel elements and everything is, the kitchen feels really inbuilt because it goes completely from one side to the other side. So as you are standing here and looking in this direction, you feel that this space is actually separate from the rest of the living room. And this is always a good thing to really zone your different areas inside a room if you have a lot of different functions inside a room. Over here we have an old fireplace that is still kept original and is here since the building has been built. And you can just feel this massive stone. And even though it isn't used anymore as a fireplace, you see, I believe there's like an air filtration system standing inside here, but it just really speaks to the history of the place. What I love about this apartment, and in general, in any apartment, if somebody dares to do so, is all of the wall sconces. And you just have these like round, half-round spheres, and they just give off really beautiful ambient light. And you always have a lot of different light fixtures inside this apartment that give you a dynamic and lively atmosphere. Also, this design isn't too serious, and even though it respects its history very well, you can see that the designer of this place had a lot of fun when decorating and designing the space. So for example, in this inbuilt niche, which I love inbuilt niches, we have cactuses standing here, or we have a lot of colorful different bottles that used to be alcohol. It says like cerveza, which means beer in Spanish, or just all kinds of fun details that really loosen up the design and give you a sense of personality. Or here we have the Coca-Cola sign, which isn't typically Italian. I personally still associate Coke with sitting on the beach in Italy and just having a fun time, and I love that. Over here we can see that the old exposed wood beams have been integrated into modern design, and we can see that you actually have a window, a really sleek window that connects the bathroom with the rest of the living room. And this is a really beautiful design. Now we will go inside the master bedroom, and it is better than you can imagine. Follow me. So as we enter into the bedroom, we can see that it is just a very tranquil space where you just calm down, where you can rest. There aren't a lot of colors being used, so everything is white. The walls are clad in white plaster. We can see that this old Venetian Italian technique has been used of applying the plaster like this. I'm not a professional. But because of that, you just have all of this beautiful structure. And if we have a look at the top, we can see again the old exposed wood beams, which give you this really warm Italian charm and just create a beautiful design. And of course, as I told you before, we have even more of those old exposed frescoes. And they are just absolutely beautiful. I would come here just to have a look at the frescoes. And I believe another beautiful thing, here we have an entrance to yet another part of the old apartment, but I believe that they've just been separated from each other, and because of this, the designer decided to add a mirror and to just use this old frame, this old beautiful marble frame for a door, to use it as a frame for a mirror. And I believe that this just integrating old design and an old piece of history and not ripping it off, but just creating something new with it is just absolutely beautiful. If we have a look here, wow. On the bed, we have a very generous overthrow in a darker beige that really grounds you and adds another hue of beiges and browns that is the color palette of this place. And we have some blue accents in the space that underline this tranquil and calming atmosphere, such as the pillows over here, or this comfortable rug that just adds another layer of fabric and adds even more comfort inside here. Over here we have two differently sized chairs in completely different shapes, but what connects them is their color, the blue. You just feel like throughout this apartment you have a lot of perfect compositions. In front of me we have a giant window repeated that we had on the other side, that we had in the living room as well, and they just go all the way up to the ceiling, and you see again Verona and the terracotta walls of the outside and the historic facades, and they also are part of the design and affect the design choices that have been made in the inside. The building has very high ceilings, and to really underline this height and to give it even more of a majestic feeling, you have these really high curtains that have been placed completely at the top and go all the way until the bottom. Over here we have an inbuilt cabinet, and you can see that everything has been kept in white because it's not the centerpiece of the design, but really the historic elements in this apartment and its history are the focus of the design. So everything else has been kind of pulled into the background to not overwhelm. For example, that the cabinet doesn't compete with all the historic details, but to still follow the history and to still follow the story of this apartment, you have all of these beautiful geometric frames and these paneling. Now we will go inside the master bathroom. And one more thing, we can see that we have two sconces on both sides, so you just have a very symmetrical entrance. One of them isn't working, or I haven't been able to turn it on. But here again, we have yet again at the same time another sconce repeated. But what's so genius about the sconces is that all of them have little unique details that makes them unique and one of a kind. Let's go inside the bathroom. So, as you can see, it looks very Italian, and I believe that the tiles are still original. As for this marble countertop, and you just feel transported right a few hundred years back into the history and the heart of Italy in Verona. And I believe the bathroom is very simple, but it has everything you need, and you still, because of these little details in the tiles and because of all of the historic elements used in the bathroom, you still have a very sophisticated, nice design. And I showed you before from the other side in the living room, but I will show you again. So above me you can see that a window has been added throughout around the bathroom to just add natural light. And the window just adds a really contemporary element inside the bathroom and also visually. Also here we have a historic step, and you can see that the step isn't just normal or regular, but that it is really marked as a new entrance from going from one place into the second area, and it is marked with a slab of marble. So now we looked at a historic residence in Verona with unique old historic frescoes and yet a very bold and retro design. Let me know what you thought of the apartment in the comments, and if you have any questions. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe and I will see you next week.